Hello. Hi. Yeah, he's so cute. I shamelessly tell you how adorable he is, but you can see. Who's that? Oh my goodness, sorry. The camera wiggling. It's just on my laptop. It's nothing great. And he kicks the table. Yeah, cute, right? Yeah, you're a stinker. What's he doing? So I started Evelina yesterday and I really enjoyed it. I forgot a little bit about it, so it's kind of fun to start reading it again. But before we get started, what did you have for dinner? We had, it's kind of funny, we had some, a while ago, we were at a fair or some, and we bought some bread mixes and soup mixes from this company. It was supposed to be all homemade and healthy and so yummy. And it was quite a while ago, and we used most of them, but we had a few that kind of got pushed to the back of the cupboard in the pantry. So I pulled them out and thought, oh my goodness, these things they're used. They're kind of old. So I pulled out a cornbread and a cheddar broccoli soup. They were not yummy. And I even added to the soup, like I added, oh, thanks. Oh, thanks for the love. I love you. I added broccoli and chicken and seasonings and some paprika and cheese and crackers and bacon on top, just trying to make it good. And it was not, I mean, it wasn't disgusting, but it wasn't good. And then the cornbread was so heavy and flat, and it wouldn't brown. It wouldn't cook through. Like it was, it wasn't yummy. And it was really sweet because I was in the living room on my computer and I was working and I was trying to get some stuff scheduled. And so I was really focusing. And then all of a sudden I realized that Charles was talking to Kayla, my little girl, and she was saying, "Is that yummy?" And he was saying, "Not really. His mother didn't make it. Everything she makes is 100 times yummier than any of the stuff we buy. Just if she makes it, it's yummy, and this stuff isn't." And I was like, "Aw," I was sitting over there listening, kind of perked up my ears, and it was so sweet to hear him just telling her that I'm such a good cook. Twittered me, made me feel all warm and fuzzy and special inside. I'm telling you. Anyway, no, it was fun, but yeah, it wasn't very good. But I did. Oh my goodness, you little pumpkin! I did make cheesecake yesterday, and that was good. So I had a slice of cheesecake after to kind of put something yummy in my mouth, so I didn't have that. It's not a good flavor of the aftertaste of the soup and stuff. So I had a piece of cheesecake, and that was good. Anyway, it wasn't great. I hope your dinner was better. Put in the chat, what did you have for dinner? Just for fun. I love to hear what people are eating, what their ideas are. And a lot of people, are making yummy stuff from home, and it's always fun. I had one of my friends on Snapchat posted a snap of that she made sourdough bread. Like, she's so ambitious. And then she had eggs Benedict on jalapeno cheddar sour bread. And I was like, oh my goodness, yummy. I love to see what people are making because I love to cook. So before I get started, I'm going to show off a couple of things I made because I can. So Caden wants to show it. You going to show it up? Oh, turn it around. Oh, come on. So pretty. So this one see this really cute, like it's a frame, and then it has a seashell and the cute blue little confetti glitter behind it, so it kind of looks like it's on the waves or the water. It's really cute. And then one of my specialties, the things I'm kind of the most proud of, is like my signature thing, is my coffee bean stuff. I love coffee, and I do a lot of coffee bean jewelry, and it's hard to work. Fragile, but these are wire wrapped. I don't know how well you can see them, but they've been resin wrapped in wire, copper. So these are kind of a rose gold copper kind of color, the earrings and the wire and everything. So those are super cute. And then I did a few of these, and they're kind of bit bigger than what I choose for myself, but I think they're really cute. And I've had a few like teachers like these because you know how apples are kind of um, a theme for teachers, right? It's a theme. And so I've had a couple of teachers like, oh, that's so cute. Well, and I've had 2 different times I've had kids buy one of these for their teacher, which is adorable. I mean, you'd have to love your teacher a lot to buy her a gift. So that's so cute. So they'll buy an apple necklace for their teacher. And they're really, really cute. This one is full of the red metallic foil. So it's got a real cool texture looking, and then it has the little bronze lights and the bronze chain. So it's really cute. And then I've done a few of these. The little girls love the rainbows and unicorns and that kind of stuff. So, oops, dropped it. So I've sold quite a few of these little rainbow necklaces. The little girls absolutely love them. This one's really sparkly clouds and pastel and just super cute. And it's, fairly big. But the children kind of like that. They like a, big, cute necklace. But I found that they actually like the bigger stuff. So super cute. So showing off some of my stuff, and then we will just jump in, start reading. So we did chapter 1 and 2 yesterday. And it is kind of complicated, especially at first, trying to follow what all happened. But basically, this Reverend Villers was a really, really decent guy. And he was kind of like an older brother or father figure to this man, Mr. Evelyn. And then when he went to France for some, tour of Europe or whatever, he met this woman, and she's really beautiful, but she's just kind of a scum. She's really low class, really horrible person. She was a waitress at a tavern, and she convinced him to marry her, kind of bewitched him, seduced him to a degree to get him to marry her. And he was so infatuated with her, so he married her. And almost immediate was like, oh, that's bad. And they didn't divorce, right? If they got married, that was it. That was their life forever. So it's not very smart to make rash decisions if it's permanent, which is good. It's a good thing to make permanent decisions and then stick with it, But she was a horrible, horrible person, and he couldn't even, so everybody said, well, probably move to Paris, stay in France. You don't want to come here and kind of ruin your reputation. You have this wife that's a person, and you don't want to bring her into the society. So he moved to France, and he only lived 2 years, and she kind of drove him to his deathbed because he was so stressed, and he couldn't handle it dealing with her because she's such a terrible person. And so, but she had a daughter. So on his deathbed, his dying wish, he wrote a letter to the Mr. Villers, and he sent his baby to this reverend and said, please, will you raise her? She cannot be raised by her mother. Like, it's not good. And he sent him a little bit of money, not quite actually. But he was wealthy, so he had a large fortune. When he died, his wife got the fortune, so now she's rich. And he assumed when she was 18, he wanted the reverend to raise her till she was 18, till she's all grown up. And then he thought, okay, then she could maybe be with her mother after she has some principles and some decency, but she just can't be raised an impressionable child by this woman who's a terrible woman. And so when she turned 18 and her mother wanted her to come, so he let her go to France. And when she went, her mother had remarried a man named Duval. And her new husband has a nephew that they tried to make her marry this nephew. And she did not want to. She didn't like him, but she was 18, and she was very sheltered and protected by this reverend and raised to be really sweet. She'd never been cussed at or yelled at or abused or in the way her mother was trying to force her into this marriage, and got really horrible and abusive to her and threatening her and screaming at her and stuff. She's just never experienced anything like this. And finally, after a while, she just decided, and her mother saying, "You're never going to get your fortune, your money, if you don't marry him," and this whole big thing. And so finally, she just said, "Fine, okay." So she just went off quietly and married him because she didn't want to have to deal with her mother making this big wedding and this whole big deal. And he only married her because she was going to get this huge fortune, and he wanted her money. And he was fairly wealthy too. So it seems like, I guess he just wanted more money. And then her her mother was furious with her for eloping and not letting her do some big beautiful wedding. So then she told her she wasn't going to give her fortune anyway. So he abandoned her, and when she married him, they eloped. So it was really quiet. They didn't have any witnesses or anything. So he burned the marriage certificate and denied that he had married her, and she was pregnant with this baby, which is just so horrible. But he's like, well, if I can't have her money, why would I acknowledge that she's my wife? And he wanted to go find a different wife. So even though he's married to her, there's no proof that he married her. So here she is pregnant. So it looks like she was off sleeping around, even though she was married to him and everything. And so she's just horrified. So she runs back to Mr. Villers, who raised her, and he's so devastated that she went through all this, and he wishes he never would have let her go. And she comes back to him, and she has her baby, and she dies in childbirth, giving birth to her baby after the years of being married to the trying to remember his name. Anyway, but she just couldn't take it. So then she dies. So then he has her baby, and she says, please don't let my mother have anything to do with this child. Like, just protect her. So he raised this girl, Evelina. She's the one who's Evelina. I know my recap is really, really complicated, but I just want to make sure you can kind of follow the whole story. So he raised Evelina. So he raised the kind of older brother, father to the guy, and then his daughter, and then his granddaughter. So it's like 3 generations that this man has been a father to. And he's an old man now. His wife died. He's all alone. All he has is this 16-year-old girl that he has raised and sheltered and protected. He adores her. He lives for her. Like, he's so sweet. And the grandmother is demanding that he send Evelina to see her, and she wants to take her out into the world and introduce her to society and find her a husband. And he's like, nope, because he wants to protect her from what happened to her father and her mother. I mean, her grandfather and her mother. So it's really, he's just so protective of her. Anyway, so that's kind of the gist of her life story. Caden, stop doing that. You're going to tip everything off the table. Okay. Now, so these letters are from a woman named Lady Howard, who is a friend of the family. She has kind of been a little bit involved, and so the Madame Duval, the horrible grandmother, she wrote to this Lady Howard because she doesn't know how to get a hold of Mr. Villers, plus she hates his guts because she thinks he stole all her children and her granddaughter, even though the father sent her to her and said, do not let her mother have anything to do with her, but she hates him. So she's communicating with this Lady Howard. So the whole book is letters. So this is a letter from Lady Howard to Reverend Villers. I love you. Hey, don't pull on that. He's such a helper. I'm sorry. Hey, no. That's it. Hey, oh my goodness. He's such a handful. Oh my, you should see my house. I cleaned it so good. I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning cleaning because it's so hard to clean when he's awake and he never sleeps. So I got everything clean and it felt so good. And today, in the bathroom, he emptied out my little organizers full of socks and tights all over the bathroom floor. In the kitchen, he took the container with all of Kayla's she has little forks and kitchen tools and play food and stuff, dumped the whole thing in the kitchen. And I made him some noodles, and I was putting a little bit out for him so that he could just eat them. And he got a hold of the whole bowl full of noodles and dumped them. And then in the living room, then he put Kayla had the blocks out she was playing with, and he just scattered them. They fit in a bag like this big, and they're everywhere. The whole living room floor. How do we even have that many blocks? They're not that many. They're everywhere. The whole living room. It's like a tornado went through. He is such a handful. He makes messes. Yeah, you're busy. He's busy. Okay, sorry. Here we are. I've been talking for 15 minutes. We haven't even got started. I'm sorry. Here we go. We're doing it. We're gonna get started. It's okay. It's okay. Calm down. We're gonna get started. Okay. Letter 3, written some months after the last. Howard Grove, March 8th. Lady Howard to the Reverend Mr. Villers. Dear and Reverend Sir, your last letter gave me infinite pleasure. After so long and tedious an illness, how grateful to yourself and to your friends must be your returning health. You have the hearty wishes of every individual of this place for its continuance and increase. Will you not think I take advantage of your acknowledged recovery if I once more venture to mention your people and Howard Grove together? See, she wants to, because they used to visit each other like once a year. The Lady Howard and this Reverend, they're like family friends for years and years, and they haven't made a visit for years. So she's kind of trying to talk him into letting Evelina come see her. Are you silly? Are you a silly baby? Oh, thanks for the hug. Oh, I love you so much. Oh, oh, sweet baby. Hi. It's like, it doesn't matter how many messes he makes. He puts his arms around me and gives me a kiss, and it's just all okay. Yeah, it's fine. I'll deal with it. I love those hugs. I love you. I love you. You're silly. And you're noisy. Will you not think I take advantage of your acknowledged recovery if I once more venture to mention your pupil and Howard Grove together? Yet you must remember the patience with which we submitted to your desire of not parting with her during the bad state of your health, though it was with much reluctance we forbore to solicit her company. My granddaughter in particular, he's so lovey today. Oh, thank you. My granddaughter in particular has scarce been able to repress her eagerness to again meet the friend of her infancy, and for my own part, it is very strongly my wish to manifest the regard I had for the unfortunate Lady Belmont by providing serviceable to her child, which seems to me the best respects that can be paid to her memory. Permit me, therefore, to lay before you a plan which Mrs. Mervyn and I have formed in consequence of your restoration to health. I would not frighten you, but do you think you could bear to part with your young companion for 2 or 3 months? Mrs. Mervyn proposes to spend the ensuing spring in London. So this lady Howard has a daughter named Mrs. Mervyn and a granddaughter, and the granddaughter is Evelina's age. So this Mrs. Howard, I believe, was friends with the Reverend and his wife for ever since they're elderly now, so a lot of years. So she wants to take Evelina for 2 or 3 months. Mrs. Marvin proposes to spend the ensuing spring in London, whither, for the first time, my grandchild will accompany her. So the granddaughter's never been to London. Now, my good friend, it is very earnestly their wish to enlarge and enliven their party by the addition of your amiable ward, who would share equally with her own daughter the care and attention of Mrs. Mervyn. Do not start at this proposal. It is time that she should see something of the world. Oh my goodness, what are you doing? Oh, what are you doing? You're crazy. He wants all my attention. You're crazy. Need a drink? Say, I love you. Hi. I love you. Is your shirt coming off? He grabs the neck and stretches it, and then it's like hanging off. You're crazy. Okay. When young people are too rigidly sequestered from it, their lively and romantic imaginations paint it to them as a paradise, of which they have been beguiled. But when they are shown it properly and in due time, they see it such as it really is, equally shared by pain and pleasure, hope and disappointment. You have nothing to apprehend from her meeting with Sir John Belmont, as that abandoned man is now abroad and not expected home this year. So John Belmont is her father, who abandoned her mother and burned the marriage certificate and won't acknowledge the daughter. I don't think if even I don't think he even knows about her, because when he abandoned her, she didn't even know she was pregnant. I think. Be nice. Mwah. But he's abroad, so she's like, you don't have to worry about her meeting her father. She'll be fine. Well, my good sir, what say you to our scheme? I hope it will meet with your approbation, but if it should not, be assured I can never object to any decision of one who is so much respected and esteemed as Mr. Bailey by his most faithful. What you being grumpy for? By his most faithful, humble servant, M. Allen. You are grumpy. Be nice. Be soft. Soft. He's such a handful. Oh, thanks. Thanks for the loves. Here, need an ice? Want an ice? Yeah, you love ice. No? Should I eat it? Oh, you do want it? Okay. Okay. Letter 4. Mr. Villars to Lady Howard. Berry Hill, March 12th. I am grieved, madam, to appear obstinate, and I blush to incur the imputation of selfishness. In detaining my young charge thus long with myself in the country, I consulted not solely my own inclination. Destined, in all probability, to possess a very moderate fortune, I wish to contract her views to something within it. The mind is but too naturally prone to pleasure, but too easily yielded to dissipation. It has been my study to guard her against their delusions by preparing her to expect and to despise them. But the time draws on for experience and observation to take place of instruction if I have in some measure rendered her capable of using one with discretion, and making the other with improvement. I shall rejoice myself with the assurance of having largely contributed to her welfare. She is now of an age that happiness is eager to attend. Let her then enjoy it. I commit her to the protection of your ladyship, and only hope she may be found worthy half the goodness I am satisfied she will meet with at your hospitable mansion. Thus far, madam, I cheerfully submit to your desire. In confiding my word to the care of Lady Howard, I can feel no uneasiness from her absence, but what will arise from the loss of her company, since I shall be as well convinced of her safety as if she were under my own roof. Wow, he must have a lot of faith in her. But can your ladyship be serious in proposing to introduce her to the gaieties of London life? Permit me to ask, for what end or what purpose? A youthful mind is seldom totally free. Oh, oh, thanks for the kisses. Wow. Need another ice? Oh, wow. I love you. A youthful mind is seldom totally free from ambition. To curb that is the first step to contentment, since to diminish expectation is to increase enjoyment. I apprehend nothing more than too much raising her hopes and her views, which the natural veracity of her disposition would render but too easy to effect. The town acquaintance of Mrs. Mervyn are all in the circle of high life. This artless young creature, with too much beauty to escape notice, has too much sensibility to be indifferent to it, but she has too little wealth to be sought with propriety by men of the fashionable world. So basically, she's gorgeous, so people are going to notice, and she's smart enough to realize that people are paying attention to her, but she doesn't really have much of a fortune, so nobody who's real serious is going to pay her very much attention, because the wealthy marry the wealthy, especially back then, and all that kind of stuff. So he's just worried that the only kind of people are going to come after her are just scumbag who think she's beautiful and want to take advantage of her. So that's his concern, right? Consider, madam, the peculiar cruelty of her situation. Only child of a wealthy baronet, whose person she has never seen, she's never even seen her father, whose character she has reason to abhor, and whose name she is forbidden to claim, entitled as she is to lawfully inherit his fortune and estate, is there any probability that he will properly own her? And while he continues to persevere in disavowing his marriage with Miss Evelyn, she shall never, at the expense of her mother's honor, receive a part of her right as the donation of his bounty. And as to Mr. Evelyn's estate, I have no doubt but that Madame Duval and her relations will dispose of it among themselves. So that Mr. Evelyn, the grandpa of her girl, his Madame Duval took all of his fortune, and she's not going to give it where it should go. She's going to give it to her family and her side of the family. So she's not going to inherit any of that, even though it should technically be hers. And then her own father is wealthy, but he disowned her mother and disavowed her. And so she's getting to get no fortune from him, though technically through her inheritances, she should be extremely wealthy. But, each side of her father and her grandmother are horrible, selfish people. So she's not getting what she's, supposed to be receiving. Hi, thanks for the hug. Mwah. You're such a handful. I would bring him to Charles, but he has this huge job he has to get done, like soon. So he's going to be up all night anyway. So we'll just make it work. We're almost done. It seems, therefore, as if this deserted child, though legally heiress of 2 large fortunes, must owe all. Hey, don't be nice. Must owe all her rational expectations to adoption and friendship. Yet her income will be such as may make her happy if she is disposed to be so in private life, though it will be by no means allow her to enjoy the luxury of a London fine lady. Katie, oh my goodness. If there is mischief to make, he will make it. I have these papers clear underneath, and he manages to get them and pull them out, and I need them. Did you bump your face? Come here. I'm sorry. Did you need ice? Did you bunk your mouth? Nobody wants to listen to you. They don't want to listen to you cry. They want to see you smile. There, you have to be happy. Thank you. Let Miss Mervyn, then, Madame, shine in all the splendor of high life, but suffer my child still to enjoy the pleasures of humble retirement with the mind to which greater views are unknown. I hope this reasoning will be honored with your approbation, and I have yet another motive which has some weight with me. I would not willingly give offense to any human being, and surely Madame Duval might... That's pretty sad, isn't it? Madame Duval might accuse me of injustice if, while I refuse to let her granddaughter wait upon her, I consent that she should join a party of pleasure to London. And that's kind of true. Like, so she can't go see her grandmother, but she can go party with her friends, So that's kind of inconsistent. In sending her to Howard Grove, not one of these scruples arise. So he wants to send her to Howard Grove and let her go see her family, but he does not want her to go to London. And therefore Mrs. Clinton, a most worthy woman, formerly her nurse, and now my housekeeper, shall attend her the next week. Though I have also always called her by the name of Anville, and reported in this neighborhood that her father, my intimate friend, left her to my guardianship, yet I have thought it necessary she should herself be acquainted with the melancholy circumstances attending her birth. For though I am very desirous of guarding her from curiosity and impertinence by concealing her name, family, and story, yet I would not leave it in the power of chance to shock her gentle nature with the tale of so much sorrow. So most of her life, she never really knew all of this of her history. But he's told now that she's 16 and she's big. He's told her about it because he doesn't want anything to happen to her where she runs into somebody who knows something about her story and then finds out all this stuff about herself from some random source. Hey, calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Here, have one more ice, and then we'll be done. Then we'll be done. He loves ice. He loves ice. Snum. You must not, madame, expect too much from my pupil. She is quite a little rustic, and knows nothing of the world, and though her education has been the best I could bestow in this retired place, to which Dorchester, the nearest town, is 7 miles distant, yet I shall not be surprised if you should discover in her 1,000 deficiencies of which I have never dreamed. There's literally 2 more sentences. She must be very much altered since she was last. Be nice. Be nice. That's pretty pathetic. Gonna be one. She must be very much altered since she was last at Howard Grove, but I will say nothing of her. I leave her to your ladyship's own observation, of which I beg a faithful relation, and add, dear madam, with great respect, your obedient and most humble servant, Arthur Villars. Oh, man. Took us a long time to get through that. Me with all my talking. Sorry. Hey, you gonna smile? Say bye-bye. That was the end. We're gonna go. We're gonna go. Say bye. Bye-bye. Oh, did you drop your ice? Here's another one. That'll just melt on whatever papers you threw on the floor and ruin them. That's fine. It's in them. Say bye-bye. Say bye. Bye-bye. Good night. See you tomorrow. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming to the story corner for story time with the story lady. See you next time. Bye. 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 I love you.